Hello, VPI. My name is Sachin Agrawal. I'm the negative in this debate, and I hope you guys have a good viewing experience.
Overview: 1 theories of aliens means if any of you drop the debate or 1 or 2 short term thinking make trying to have no guys spend a 2 means you proceed every time competing in terms otherwise the 2 are trying to half hour so playing defense after your first more charges 3 lost 1 for the 1 hour versus 1 something 1 see framework. I value morality in the method is non-naturalism. 1, the natural class examples good as failed to find the ultimate good moral. 3, good as capable of any definitions. B, as no course good as a simple identified quality considered yellow. We identify by library reasons without what we perceive and made true the all things which are good as something else, but too many thoughts of other properties are actually finding it. 2, only operate knowledge is epistemically reliable. Descartes 41. There's not knowledge puts me in the thoughts I'm now having. I may be the these thoughts. I have no sense of no body. My commitment is also something that I certainly exist. So there's a receiver, supreme power who's to see me, he'll never bring about it. Nothing else fine that I exist. Yeah, have a specific understanding what this I is. 3, subject. Yeah, I don't know how you experience the world, which means you have to appeal to your ethics, to have universal ethics that are applicable to all individuals. Anything else that falls into moral relativism makes culpability impossible. 4, non-naturalism. 3, reasons all determinism. Quantity 1. In empirical character, there's no freedom, but 1 reason can't say. None of the same reason which I say is to determine reasons thus condition of all voluntary acts, even if one believes act to be determined by natural causes. 1, nonetheless, limits agent views. With that act, the agent started to use responsibilities entirely for themselves, blames ground on reason. There are 3 ways to categorize the substance of the non-natural properties internally, externally, or from a constitutive of nature's beings. Internalism, externalism fail. Only constitutionalism can solve the deficiencies cast as 14. Internalism trouble the universal norm claims to wonder how claims there is no relation to motives can motivate. Externalism generates universal norm claims yet encounters the problems of practicality and critics confusion agrees truth events on names. However, true authority of naming this constitutive that requires practical reasons the basis for ethics. 1, rigorous ethical theories must have the basis because we can always ask where to follow the basis of theories. So there's something our world and means the starting point practical reasons also. When we ask why should follow a reason who made a reason which concedes the authority of reason also the only thing we can follow to escapability. Every agent intrinsically values practical reason, but they go outside and pursue an end under moral theories or presupposes that end their committing is intrinsic good. That necessities practical reasons necessary means to follow through on any given end. 3, action theory every action can be broken down into infinite amounts of movements. I.e. moving my arm can be broken down into the infinite moments of every state my arm is the only reason can unify these movements because we use practical reason to achieve our goals means all actions come to reason. That justifies a universal moral law. 1, absent universal ethics morality becomes arbitrary since we means applied in different ways without reason. Arbitrariness is a sign of trade. Only an arbitrary principle is simply applicable for everyday actions since otherwise we can make up ethical rules for different situations and punish people. 2, arbitrary principles like reason applied to everyone since they're independent human experience. That means one violate a rule without another contradictions or sign constraints an inescapable condition that otherwise all arguments something can't be both true and false simultaneously. 3, every agent needs equally morally relevant which requires equal treatment equal standards for the ethics. Therefore, in order to respect each agent is practical reason require equal set of moral laws for counts as a violation of the principles of rational reflection. That's the capital imperative as for formulations. Spectrum 2. I think the lesson the capital imperative acts as the maximum your action will become universal. All humanities and act your will can ourselves as making authors. Maxims acts as if you're along being a member of human events. However, your requirement enforcement mechanism for these principles is the rights claims can exist in state of nature will fall as nominee law or law of 10. Every production is possible state of nature beings can be secure against violence. Each has a right to do what's in charge only local authorities until the problems of nature CPs are up to the will of all no one particularly the local authorities united all pure by being an omnilateral but it can really be half of everyone or interacts can be subject to universal laws rather than anyone's arbitrary choices. Thus the standards consistency with the capital imperative is acted through the omnilateral will prefer motivation. The capital imperative is intrinsically motivation since it respects the nature of agency which is the mechanism of which we can send pursue any end absent the motivation to pursue ends who no longer be in nature which means that being an agent necessitates being motivated to act and only value testable to account for all foreseen impacts when action because individuals appeal morally culpable for all actions states affairs not just those that factor into their will to otherwise ethical theories hold agents responsible for consequences external to their will which means any reason moral because agents cannot control whether they be punished. For 3, let's skip the 3.4 at induction bills and re-interest by the past just by the future reasons of logical certainty what's happened before will happen again. Skip the 5 point and on 6.1 is purely impossible to recommend out of 5. Long term made 250 for people made the living offering advice completely got out transfers made 80,361 forecast extras before more than sound equal probably so all outcomes human beings are 4 forecasts and the government makes offense. I affirm the resolution result the United States significantly reduces military presence in the West Asian North Africa region. You can choose any specification of my plan as long as it doesn't violate major advocacy. The duty to promote commercial peace is correct and necessitates the abolition of standing armies mandolin in 95. Controversial intervention by force duty to promote international peace. Republican states crucial. Commercial peace realized by the Federation of States abolishes standing army and despotic states need no public consent. Republican states promote public use of reason likely to seek peace and political change may not occur through resistance to revolution by gradual reform. We manage to seek peace through political intervention. And military presence of violation of every nation state's autonomy and forwards no moral despotism mandolin 95. Virtual peace promotes intervention no states force may interfere the constitution of another. The justice one may not conversely interfere the moral conduct of persons wrong to conversely interfere the forward state that other persons own people examples should be seen as a warning. This would run out the autonomy of every nation and secure and the military and we also mirror the ideal of the federation on interventions role respective of political improvements overall. So there's a profession of state of good promotes intervention despotic moralist field of realized intervention worse institution under view. The advantage is one U.S. President skyrocketing post October 7th that multiplies escalation factors and roads turns and provokes a direct military confrontation. Club in St. 16. U.S. will play thousands in the Middle East since October 7th attacked a small Iranian-backed militias who are persons contribute to rise attention to the raw driving and direct military conflict build of force of retaliatory actions in Syria and provocations of attacks nations hard to protect and deployments of military attacks and by them enlargement of presence increases conflict means more constant contact server less as a deterrent than a convenient target and escalation of inevitable perpetual attacks will eventually kill servicemen British forces U.S. retaliation Mitchell 11-12. Attacks are not expected to let others the U.S. strikes would deter attack but they when our groups of conventional strikes are trying to get the U.S. into larger conflict that rather more dire strikes looms our groups have already come close to inflicting major damage the uptake of attacks increasing escalation rather than drawn to U.S. responses and not killing the U.S. forces if you get casualties that I think the U.S. will get drawn in to tip the U.S. into a wider war and there was something for our security officials and underestimate Cubertol and Delta 29. Iranian militias launched attacks against U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria. Security officials fear miscalc. Each side believes others want to fight trigger conflict only been thinking about a short order. Iran believe it wants Israel's done. It will turn attention to them. Gaza will be beginning of something bigger. Officials believe Iran is using attacks to warn the U.S. and Iran's fundamentally defensive U.S. forward presence for existential fears that justify preemptive strikes. Presence not to trigger antagonizes prefer evidence. Only we analyze Iranian officials and told historical President Martina 23. Since Islamic Republic was established, the regime defines the police in the opposition, policies in the opposition to the U.S. Regard Americans as the main threats against the withdrawal of U.S. forces to support Iran. View U.S. military presence as destabilizing and undermining as long as the U.S. forces remain in the region. The potential resistance to invade Iranian territory, fanned by large-scale U.S. interventions east and west, reinforce Iran's desire to remove U.S. forces, could result in attacks on different types of Iran's interest in living persons, could manifest aggression, and skip and Iran wardrobes nuclear powers and causes every 20. Aggressive radicalized provocations can escalate in full war. War if it started by World War III, Iran's ladder, the Russian China attack and escalated launching a war. Pakistan may be working on introducing nukes. Russia and China may be joining in Iran nuclear war damage, global black destroy civilization and biosphere.
I'll cut the card on, or cut the martini evidence on aggression, and then didn't read the 5 and 3 points on the calc and Knight's page.
Yeah, good for cause.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, let's talk about framework. What is the omnilateral will?
The omnilateral will is kind of the collection of the society that functions as a governing body to enforce the categorical theory.
Okay, if I die, does the omnilateral will care?
Well, it depends on how you die. If
Okay,
if someone murdered you and intended to murder you, then we would say that something would be done and a punishment would be served
Wait,
to the person who intended to kill you and did indeed kill
I
you.
have another question. What does the underview have to do with your framework?
Yeah, so the underview, you can kind of view it as like preemptive, right? So we can concede that the underview is not offense specifically under our framework, but if you decide to read, like, for example, a consequentialist framework, then we would say that we can concede the consequentialist framework and be able to like have offense under that.
Okay, great. Let's talk about, or what is your, like, can you explain to like van der Linden stuff?
Yeah, van der Linden basically just says that Kant would say that under intervention under any circumstance would be unjustified, specifically if intervention is only justified through, we can solve like internal conflicts and internal ills within a country. That would mean it would violate the state's autonomy because, it's like the same idea. If someone is having problems and issues with themselves, you do not have the right to actively violate them or be able to intervene with themselves because it's harming their own ability to have autonomy.
If Iran is violating other people's, or okay, if like, okay, you know what, sure. I guess, yeah, okay, I got it. How do we determine if an action is intended or not?
Through the reduction test, we say that the reduction test is basically, you look at the action and you basically reduce it down to the most constitutive features of the action. For example, if I drop a gun on the ground, I accidentally step on it, I'm still looking at my phone or something, then we can deduce through the reduction test that, you did not intend to do that action. Because the constitutive features of that action say that, you did not intend to do that because you're looking at your phone, it dropped out, like the gun dropped out.
If Iran intends to nuke the entire globe, would that matter under your framework?
Well, Iranian intention, to
If
nuke
let's
the
say
entire
that
globe.
the nation of the Republic of Iran decides to just nuke Syria, would that matter under your framework if people died?
If we said that Iran specifically wanted to nuke everyone and they had the intentions to nuke everyone, then yeah, I guess.
Perfect. Wait, why did you talk so fast?
Why did I talk so fast?
Yeah.
Did I have to ask you for spreading consent?
Yeah, probably you should have.
Oh, well that's my fault.
If you spread, do I get to spread?
You have the document though, so you even if it was unclear in some parts, you can still have
If you spread, do I get to spread?
Oh yeah, you get to spread.
I get to spread. You spread, right?
You can speak fast.
Yeah, but you spoke fast or spread, right?
Yeah, you can speak fast actually.
Yeah, but you did though, didn't you?
Oh, did I?
I'm asking.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't
What
know?
do you mean speak?
You were
What
talking
do you mean
about,
spread?
you said the word spread first, actually. I said spoke fast.
Well, I don't know what's happening now, but I guess I don't know if I spoke fast, did I?
Okay.
You can speak fast if you want, I'm fine, as long as I have a document. You have the document.
I'll send it. It's for the case.
You're all the way back there.
You got here.
Huh? What? Why are you all the way back there?
Because I didn't, like, oh, why is it not working? Wait, I didn't even realize that. Okay, I think it's out. Hold on, let me find it if it's working.
Is it an email chain?
Yeah, I'm sending it in a sec. Well, I need to be in the video too.
That's going on YouTube.
I mean, if it doesn't reach, I can move the.
Yeah, theoretically, but I think it'll reach.
Okay.
Yeah, it reaches.
Do you need to stand?
Actually, you know what? It'll be 3 in case, because I just realized that I forgot about something.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the doc, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Did you take out spreading consent?
yeah. I did.
Shame.
How did you know?
Just knew.
Okay.
I'll tell you when I get the doc. Oh, I don't have the doc.
Okay. Yeah, and then I trust you. I trust you. Free drink water. Like hints. No. You're not ready for this.
What?
Water.
I have water sachet.
Did you put something in it?
What? I'm drinking it.
Okay, wait. As soon as you, I also have water.
Click the button.
This guy's asleep.
Sorry. Sorry. That was kind of an uncomfortable sound.
Good. Oh, wait. Okay.
Everyone's good, right? Double check.
Yeah. Great. Wait, is please send docs earlier gonna be a shell, or are you just telling us?
It's just in the doc. I'm not reading that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, I'm just, don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I was just
Yeah.
asking, man.
First is interpretation. The one is used to three-tiered process to justify the advocacy violation they did. One is inclusion in the social change, normative practices, interest normative power structures, demolition politics, inclusion that ways controls each other, debates how you read with the weight, social power knowledge maintains the normative practice, depending on social knowledge making each process, what was the okay, intellectual, academic, intellectual, system, secret truths, but other process, debates, consideration, single practice, that prohibits normative practices, excluded by normative solutions, and extra represent distance from impressions, organic, intellectual, how to discuss. The second is the TVA, they want to see what their ways, the way that their personal law shapes how we view their advocacy and organic intellectual paradigms. One documentary can take off, so the second is community interpretations can be reasonably found. It also causes invention, violence, arbitrary injustice, individual justice. Third is no offense, to them to win to be and force me to defend their unit values, realize it was bad. Next up is to decide Iran is a revisionist piece of field. For Roman 20, evolutionary Iran is some term for a glory, Arab, Hard 7, as such with Iran seeks out. The substance Iran tries to possess nuclear technology, political influence. Iran gets motive to achieve its ambitions, suggest sentence, influence into Iran is emerging as a revision power, which all of the US, but to few see it's wrong. Emerges proven, which is sort of something that's intended only to turn towards Iran. Watch from 2, use terms of where the uses was wrong, and maybe must be reversed on by Iran. Second signals are willing to use forces not willing to tolerate. They go trying to establish terms of only Iran leaders are if Iran's fears don't be to avoid war, and everyone plays nuclear war only presents also. They be 22 Washington ignore caution down the drumbeat Israeli on the way about Iran having nuclear makeup. Without wider nuclear provision, Chinese Joshua Egypt wide world on ever. Never with hands of attacking challenge military risk of being conflict. Losing some DHS contra awareness not respects opportunities that represents the key to protect allies or meet the mere perception of allies. Aligned to decline triggers on adversary probing, which causes extinction 20 17 allies creates provision powers. Trying to Iran seeking to certain influence establish rivals Tesla, America, and engaging from states watching the water for pro has already infected itself. Global loss, motivation, in other areas will come up and I'll see the Middle East and Asia, and Durham, about Hindi with the US, and then hesitations about attacking Georgia, UK, NATO, EU, Japan, Australia, Vietnam, Philippines, Taiwan, Israel, List responsive how can miscalculate how the middle audience is designed to keep in front of one thing to fact and inherent fact of escalating. And next up is accounting. The United States should change its role of military presence to disease research, education, training, and prevention. In the West Asian North African region, U.S. military presence solves neglected diseases. Goes on 2016 U.S., which has capabilities unlocked by United Nations force to excel in preventive medicine, infectious diseases, and trouble leverages and capabilities of military possess unique assets that regularly provided services of what importance to overseas laboratories for fundamental research against infectious diseases throughout the world and future diseases such as nation and access and cautious access to pleasure. The amount of money a few worth contracted in the near future. The human harbor available as that capable of collecting vital organs, pathogenic variants, need to candidates for cause pandemic disease, resulting in probably extinction, affect the reach of itself through the vagus nerve into the bloodstream patterns, could cause disease, may also in movement predators or the economic culture condition, as good heat assessing the animal perception, but also the best sort of form of class, also negative flexibility because they give us speed control direction papers, with this check back case overview 1, reject 1 3 and see applies with the triggers, blah blah, and everything to an argument when it goes unedited to return to the venture because you have to decide if you're not sent off 15 minutes before the voter processing and engagement, we can also capture the one and if that they should lose for returns. And what is the result of their often speeches find at the worst use reason because never known advantage favorite substance. 1 year, they decide 2 or 3 because they influence 2 1 no 1 year up their skills side we can move negative we can move 1 team when they do speeches of no 3 versus 1 8 that 1 3 and that's so because we were only because their abuse is disproportional takes a 1 to the 200 which second is only sure arguments weighing or weighing I don't get the answers they would crush the last words they get good in the 1 also all this often protect you and the lyrics with this actually not going to be the argument. Third is presumption and permissibility negate ace makes it most likely to move up and range to create and substitute these most actual about how ways to practical concept. One documents that they have to be practical application and not going to negate second results firmly determined but permissibility is not from it either. Or they see the getting started. One is first aspect of the direction of the debate. Second is inventing cloning the increase the literature for the app. And the third is infinite means means one perfect favorite. Not natural moral factor epistemic and inaccessible neutrality doesn't have it all with the natural concept. Not mediated by physical systems and facts on influence of physical or knowledge standards is minimizing access and risk all users can see the human universe exists not arbitrary not contradictory but trying to keep role disagree argue that it's more important to access and risk so the future people have the high quality of view that they don't take consequences into account wouldn't be rational generally why reason to read access and risk so there's referred to living also taking account more even or even if only 1% sure reducing risk because one of most have lives worth living things will improve in intellectual data because the moral worlds which the opposite are true in which the opposite are true extinction ways universal rights are entailed communities and the political community which shared enter the all supports and all parties and all actions renders our lives meaningless current true extinction is the thing under any moral theory rise continue to cultivate and as ever shared especially important to make sure all good things are thwarted dependent which are even more to say extinction because it was on myself all along to go to become meaningless if the last generation value will have the lives of future flow generations extinction render our lives today both are particularly over the point and consequential considerations are never respective persons as ends themselves in all practical considerations of state affairs. Kennedy, respective persons and respective variety persons who are morally flexible and objects continue to actions according to the moral common gender by the object, whether the respective persons is morally and regularly according to the consequential report is extremely facing appropriate to assume that otherwise would is simply for making respect and also appropriate consideration of the fact that the persons every meaning or respect cannot settle appropriate compatible considerations and all on the calculus statistical theories of 1, 2, and 6 1 20 difficulty because of the optimal consequences which focus on intellectual patterns central material is something that the result of last year influence intent to follow the available distribution tells us how happens with dispersion of the mean the consequence shaped by the aspirated cause of that their distributions are physical lots or simple pattern to emerge that the actions are driven by a vast array of causal activation are loose reading. How can I say it's read the function names that everyone knows are stated with students and moves away from the topic of interaction and action for the babies are morally important but say we know we can prevent genocide and say we was principle which morally important means to be in such continents and count only European is fully human and forces others to conform which means to drop because they're proclamation make base say if I say 1997 the word count the one essence of humanity is very much like white European male count reveals itself as the guardian of Europe itself image itself superior to gold count to reveal as it would compact the whole species in the same form which was destroyed never seen the free movement of spirit and if induction works if I drop a pen is upgrade check falls probably solve 20 operator calculation we can be done in direct inference all things are A's and therefore A's probably A's people probability and proportional to the non-logical so it is factoring into percent conjugate norms A's and for A's come on the observation by the assembly control the concept of frequency population frequency also their framework also uses relies on consequences because it relies on your evaluation of like whether or not the plan is able to sort of cause things like intervention which means that the concept of handle is inevitable so obviously 3% and 2% are called counter 20 feet to outcomes around it, social power, right? Launch distraction, neither forces are attracting distractions, attacks become more raising their evidence supporting says Iran forces are attacking you spaces for retaliation for supporting Israel, not including Iran here, not including this sort of actually it's not going to be that stuff that Iran robots that rich and horribly 2020 every year of a war with the war name factory maybe war like the as far as miscalculation very product is related to the vaccine Iran's actions like highly considered not miscalculation but dismissal policy not at a rate with more than is in public that US the time pressures Iran's liberalizing power not one rich regime war would be very costly the only serious boxing presence to ensure that the human to any military threat of the attack on the in Iraq and Syria, their administration can remain passive dollar. These people continue to act and actions out of violation by Washington to dissuade Iran from supporting acts of resistance left to concerns of terror regime in Iraq. To send a clear message to Iran, which all causes rain proliferation, which is any instabilities worse and trade terms are snare to boots on impact of withdrawal on Iran, not to consider reduction of reduced ability to detect proliferation and defaults. Impact on depend on the Gulf unenforced short fear of potential opportunities or opportunities and absence all they don't proliferate. We don't risk a giant car eventually. When all these steps are on the security that you use, but it's going the way outcomes are a lot less out around to see proliferation is slower than predictions. Mark their predictions. I did the drawing stuff and marked. Crepinet predictions, nothing below that.
Okay. Go for your class. Everyone. Okay. Anything exempted to the 1 and C?
I believe everything was in the
Okay. Any independent voters absent the T stuff? Any reasons to drop me?
yeah,
other than
everything
T?
was in the doc.
Any other voters other than T?
Yeah, the framework stuff, the stuff in the overview.
Any independent reasons that are not dependent on framework?
Yeah, like theory arguments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, they were on the on the framework page where like the Kant IVI and the induction fields or the calcanet stuff and then the
So the Kant thing is an IBI.
yeah,
So not
I
sending a
flagged it.
doc 15 minutes before as a voter as
No,
well?
I also sent that. I just said in the disclosure thing.
It's in the disclosure thing? What?
What?
Wait.
That was read.
Just tell me every
The disclosure
theoretical
thing?
reason
The disclosure thing,
to
the theory-
vote to drop me that is in the
Disclosure.
1 and C section.
Yes, I'm getting it. Disclosure, the 3-tier thing.
Okay.
And then the 2 independent voters on the framework.
What are the 2 independent voters on framework?
They're okay.
The Kant IVI?
and then the calcanet's bad thing.
Calc indict's bad?
Yeah.
Can you explain to me the warrants on
Calcindite's bad.
where calc indict's bad?
It's right underneath the calcanet's, I think. Or actually no, it was right underneath Brown. Okay, I copy pasted in the wrong spot.
Okay, so
It was like the theoretical argument everyone reads about like how it's a nib. Then it was like the morally important argument. everyone
okay,
reads.
wait. If we prove that your framework cannot guide action, i.e. triggers permissibility, doesn't that just turn the IVI?
Why
Because
would
it's
it
your framework that can't justify why things are bad.
Why would that turn the IVI? Because you're the one.
Because we say your framework would trigger permissibility, you say permissibility is bad. So how does this make sense?
I
to
don't
the
understand why
IVI?
that would turn the IVI. You're the one who read an argument that triggered permissibility.
Okay, sure. Any
I'm saying that
independent
for
reasons?
reasons
Okay,
true.
yeah, sure. Any independent reasons
I
to
told you.
negate absent the AF framework or the neg standard?
Nothing matters. Nothing other unless you read true testing.
Okay, so if we don't read true testing, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. On 3-tier, so how do we meet 3-tier? Like, can you just
How do you meet 3-tier?
Yeah.
Sure. Reading these, there's 3 things that you sort of need to do. First, you need to have personal experience, so you need to talk about your relation to the plan, to the resolution, or whatever you're advocating. The second thing you need to do is have an organic intellectual. That's someone who's like on the ground, who's like experiencing the struggles as a result of whatever the plan defends, or whatever your advocacy is. The last is academic intellectuals. You have plenty of that.
Okay, sure. Let's see, what else? I guess on the contrary, can you explain to me specifically how we don't treat everyone as equal or equal?
What do you mean? Our argument is that Kant's theories itself are founded in a conception
So
of
it's just a
humanity
theory
as
of-
white European males. The evidence says that the goals of his theories would also compact everybody into the same form. Because cross, and we can take prep if you want.
Okay, yeah. I'll start prep starting now. To me, 3-tier, do we have to specify in the 1AC specifically?
Yes.
Okay. What are the turns to her offense?
Didn't read any other than the dissat.
Oh, how does the dissat turn? It's just Iran's
Yeah.
tensor
Yeah,
bag?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, stop up there. I have 48 left. It'll start on 3 tier, then the disclosure voter, then the disclosure IBI, the induction IBI, then it'll go on framework offense.
One more time.
3 tier, disclosure, induction, framework, offense.
Wait, what's induction?
Okay, buddy.
No, seriously, what induction? Like the
You said, yeah. I said creating Calvin Knights and stuff.
This is fine.
Oh, is everyone good?
Starting on 3 tier overview, reject the shell. 1, reading the shell is a contradiction since it forces debaters to conform to a model of personal liberation they don't want to, which is literally the purpose of the shell. Second, they don't define what step each step of the process entails, which means it's impossible for me or me, and 2, and we'll shift that organic, what organic means, which means I always lose. Third, your evidence literally just says we shouldn't mandate only use of academic intellectuals since it excludes the different forms of scholarship. Not all that, all scholarship must conform to this process. Again, counterintuitive debaters do not have to personally identify with their reading of the affirmative. I prefer one over limiting. There are only a certain number of ways any individual can relate to the topic. I have an experience of resident self, which means there's no no topical half under your interim. Second, assessing a narrative requirement makes it more difficult to discuss arguments as you can't refute personal understandings of the world, chills debate, and third, hard conversations, forcing debaters to discuss their personal relations to the topic, places mandate for hard conversation and activity people go to escape, which justifies things like outing trauma and psychological violence, knowledge making. One, there's no war and peace, delirious buzzwords, and second is that the liberation status can be tested theoretically. Absent personal narratives regarded as more accurate universal solution on what innocence, what there's no warrant. Just an example of something is entirely unrelated. There's a false equivalency and no proof. Contra by half is racist, literally just not an argument on disclosure. One is reject on disclosure, now reject out-of-ground violations, infinitely unverifiable. It could be you can fabricate things like screenshots, etc. Second, it's impossible to meet because the pairings were literally released 15 minutes before. You took 5 minutes to decide when to flip. Third is that I told you a AFA person, which means we meet, and second and fourth is you literally asked me to send the AFA hat so far because I was still making the AFA, which means that I still meet the intern, etc. I still meet the intern bond and the induction IPI. One is that the nibs argument is completely non-unique because everything is functionally a nib. For example, your framework is your nib to yourself and is a nib, and if I make any arguments concerning why your framework is specifically wrong, that's also a nib, which means the argument is completely non-unique. On the second point is that we literally made this argument very thin and crossless. Is that insofar as we justify their framework, it triggers permissibility, i.e., any action can happen under their framework. That means that it turns their viewpoint because it literally just says that they can't justify things like why we have an obligation against things like slavery and the morally important things, which means that you turn that argument on the framework proper. First on Papino, which is the naturalism argument. This is naturalism argument. There being meted by the fiscal war doesn't prove the fiscal war is the source of northern authority. Second, it doesn't resolve the ISOC gap just because ethics do require a fiscal intermediary. Doesn't mean we ought to use the fiscal war to create them. And third is there's literally no warrant because it just says it's not impossible. It just says it's hard, not impossible for us. And four false, it's completely false because we know 2 + 2 equals 4 absent having 4 oranges combined or oranges combined. That means you can extend Descartes, which is the man-ethic of non-naturalism. We're clearly winning the man-ethic debate, which means that because empirical facts are epistemically unreliable since we could be deceived. the things around us could not exist. We know the existence of our own reason means we're able to think and reason, which means reason is the only basis for ethics. That means it completely takes out your framework because you rely on descriptive facts to derive ethics. For example, you say that we can have empirical knowledge and moral truths through experience, but that's unreliable. Oh, that's completely unreliable, which means that Kant is the only which means our framework is the only possible framework under non-naturalism. Because we rely on a priori ethics, and you can extend that means you extend our thesis here that ethical formulations must be derived from a priori truths and not the empirical world. That means we require practical reason for the ability to set and pursue ends. Since it's a constituent of agency, however, a system of ethics requires the state to enforce those rights. Otherwise, in the state of nature, there would be infinite rights violations. Both follows the omnilateral, which enforces the category of imperative and protects agency. The extinction outweighs stuff. One is impact justified because the reason extinction is bad is basis are reversible. That person would be utilitarian calculus. Second is when you tell false means we have no obligation to stay alive insofar as we are doing something good under a different framework. Third is the freeze action makes extinction and small violence inevitable since we are always deliberating about tiny risk and force assumes episode modesty, but confidence is better and resolvability is calculating probabilities of frameworks and arguments as possible. Only a binary of true or false can ensure non-arbitrary decisions on the Kant idea that Kant is completely bullshit. We literally say that all our agents are a priori equal within the 1AC, which means that through the reduction test we only look at the constituent features of humanity, which is the ability to reason, which means that their card just says that we're only constructed off the European mind, but no, only are built on the articulation of our framework here. And now, second, extend the Vanderlip and offense space is wrong to coarsely interfere with the foreign state that does not harm other countries. The presence of the United States military in the West shall North Africa region will violate rights of independent people and render the autonomy of every nation insecure, which means we're clearly winning off. And second, on the terms for offense, they say Iran's intentions are bad, but no, our mutual evidence from the 1C directly contradicts this because we say that Iran's their character objects to the defensive nature and they cannot counter external threats absent a robust regional presence, which means that they don't actually all they want is the US to stop being in the Middle East, which means the terms for offense make zero sense on the dissad. They just want to be like with themselves and be autonomous.
Wait, like the counterfend, they were just like not touched, like independently, right?
Yeah, not
Nothing
independent.
changed. Okay, great. No, RBIs were not justified, right? What was the offense you said?
The Vanderlip.
Yeah, what was the warrant?
The warrants. Here we just said basically that like it's wrong to cursively interfere with a foreign state that does not harm other countries in the presence of the United States military and the West.
Say that slower one more time.
It's wrong to cursively interfere with a foreign state that does not harm other countries.
Okay, perfect. Any other intent things?
Any other intent things?
Yeah.
No. Not as arguments. There are marks of reversibility.
Okay. What was the usual take up? Actually, I got that as well.
Just Descartes. Yeah.
It's gonna be theory pages really quickly. Counterpoint. And then case at the end, define. Yeah. Theory pages, counterpoint.
Wait, so just. Okay. It's gonna be quick on the theory pages.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
But just yeah.
I
Everyone.
know.
If you go on case where, cool.
I'm just gonna. All of the theory pages has 0 RBIs in them, so you shouldn't worry about them. They said in the class that turns to the calculus stuff had 0 implication or explanation of why it sort of matters. So even if my framework sort of justifies the same as genocide or whatever, they did not give a reason for why that should be a reason that I should usually view it as a standard to a counter-interpretation, because which they've standard to counter-interpretation, which means that they shouldn't win because they didn't justify RBIs or IBIs. Also, that it's wrong on the framework page because my framework sort of doesn't justify, which I'll do in a minute. The counterpoint. The framing issue of the counterpoint is that they consider the entirety of it. It solves the entirety of the affirms. It results in a lack of political intervention, which is exactly what their office is about. But it allows for us to resolve an external impact of disease. So any risk that I'm winning framework or that or rough framework sort of or that disease matters underneath consciousness is the reason that you should not let the two-hour make any new arguments here. They had 0 ink on it in the water. Anything in the two-hour, so obviously we're I'm going to respond to. So you shouldn't let them just make new arguments. The issue here is that the counterpoint resolves the entirety of the counterpoint solves the entirety of the act. They conceded that the United States that we feel that the U.S. changes its role of its military presence to sort of focus on disease research, education, and training and prevention in the West Asian region, which sort of resolves the majority of the act because it's not resulting in intervention or anything like that anymore, which means that we're not sort of linking into their evidence, which resolves all of their offense, but also has an external impact of disease, which is conceded in the Colson evidence, because only the United States military, when it goes into other nations, when it sort of goes into other nations, is able to provide assets and the ability to sort of resolve things like pathogens and infectious diseases that are going to the world. Any of the world, I don't know if the internet response to any of the two, so anything that they say cannot sort of be new. They've conceded that disease causes extinction. The 91 is great. It says that epidemics are coming right now. The plan is exactly, or the lack of doing the counterpoint is exactly what's going to sort of cause to happen. We need to sort of shift from military presence into sort of military presence into sort of being oriented around disease. None of their evidence was contextual to why sort of health diplomacy is something that is bad, or why having health sort of providing health things in the region is bad, which means that you should not sort of let them get any 2-hour spin because they made a strategic decision to not sort of go onto the counterpoint page, which is the reason that you should vote neg. Insofar as I'm winning at least that it's at least a little bit, or the majority of their offense, you should err heavily neg because all of their offenses in the context of context of sort of political intervention. You should read their decisions to try to convince us. At worst, their offense is also 0 because even if it is wrong to intervene in states that don't harm other countries, they've conceded that Iran is going to sort of proliferate and will harm other countries, which is conceded on this side, which means that but it's also not just wrong because they conceded the assurances stuff, which was right after the stuff about the Turks case, which says that literally all the other nations within the region, like all the other nations within the Middle East and Asia are going to sort of also try to proliferate, which means that it is not like it's not like we're intervening, even if we are intervening in a nation, it's not like we're intervening in a nation that is doing nothing, but rather we're intervening in a nation that is like purposely going to be trying to proliferate to attack other nations, which justifies why we would have intervention in this business. But even then, the convention should resolve the majority of that intervention, the intervention stuff, since it results in a lack of political intervention, which is exactly what we're saying, because we're not sort of intervening in the politics or the structure of the state, but rather we're only sort of altering the ability to respond and be ready to sort of respond to sort of diseases, which means that it has a risk of an external disease impact. Now, all we need to sort of do is win 1% risk that I'm winning on framework, which 1% risk because I'm winning the sort of disease, that I'm winning that to be sort of resolve disease, that disease has extinction, and that we've sort of resolved the majority of their offense, and at best that their offense is at 0. So if I win that if there's any risk of extinction first, then you give it up. Next page. Okay, you know what? Extinction was flawed, or the standard should be minimized. Extinction was even if they win their framework, extinction is necessarily a side constraint to all their arguments. They've conceded the Palmer evidence, which should favor your decision. Palmer proves that even if you're 1% not sure about whether or not Kantianism is something that is Kantianism is true, that justifies sort of preserving our ability to pursue rationalize as humans, or pursue rationalize as humans in the first place, because we need to sort of be alive to sort of take that action in the first. They said extinction is always the impact justified, but that's literally what every single framework is, because it uses the sort of like the goodness of the framework to justify justify itself, which we've said which we said actually extinction first sort of doesn't do, because it explains why extinction is a sort of primary access to everything else, which means that it's resolving their arguments. They say that when usual false means you don't need to stay alive, but our argument is that our argument is that even if you are saying usual false, extinction precludes every single ethical theory, including communism. So you can't garner offense under any, or you can't access ethics in the first instance if you're not alive to do so, which should answer their argument. They say that it freezes action, but they've conceded they've conceded the sort of the bell curve evidence, which is not the favorite the argument about the bell curve, about how statistics can sort of resolve it, because we can use a normal distribution or to calculate the mean or the most likely scenario that's going to happen, and especially because they conceded our scenario, it means that the extinction is 100% likely in the world of if you just sort of vote negative, which means that it's obviously wrong to say that it freezes action, because in the context of this round, the action is something the challengers don't take. They say that you should use epistemic confidence, that epistemic modesty is better because balances and the key to caution balances the framework and sort of substantive, but also they say that it only starts from a non-arbitrary decision, but they've conceded that even if you're using epistemic confidence first piece into winning the entirety of the scenario, you should err negative on it, but also that under their framework, extinction definitely turns our concept regardless of the nationalism stuff, because our argument that it's an intended choice for you to vote. It's an intended choice. It's something that you intend if you choose to vote after, and sort of let a ton of people sort of die. A ton of people sort of die. Now I'm still gonna wait. What else do I need to do? Everything else will flow. Oh, I'm still going to extend the Kaminsky evidence. One is that I'm still going to extend the Kaminsky evidence. Respect for autonomy demands sacrifice the innocent for greater good. One is that decision making requires attention to empirical details. None of their often makes sense in the absence of billion empirical assumptions about the destructive power of nukes, the absence of lots of war, even the existence of sort of nation states or agents. Their offense only matters insofar as we can actually empirically verify existence. Second is absolute moral rules are not universalizable. There are clear instances where lying, stealing, or killing become morally acceptable and necessary. Respect to agency demands tailoring actions to specific circumstances in the consequential ethical phase. Ruling universalizably something that's good. Independently, they've not entered the Grundle evidence, which proves that extinction necessarily link turns Kantianism, because it is the only way for us to actually allow for to just recognize the humanity, the common humanity of people, and actually access value. The Kant was conceded, it probably solves the entirety of the AF, because they did not reach a single solvency deficit. They probably should have had at least some ink on the page. So even if you eat, so you should err on tuner analysis, because the tutor, anything the tutor routine you. Any risk of extinction first being true, or me having offense with the decided reason for that.
Okay, 48 seconds left after that starting. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Order's gonna be framework then the camera. Okay, is everyone good? Yep. Sachin?
Yep.
Okay.
The way you should be voting on this debate is through a lens of epistemic confidence through the framework debate. They've conceded, first of all, they've not justified why epistemic modesty within the honesty, or why epistemic modesty should matter at all. Second is they've conceded they've conceded that they've conceded the resolvability standard on why we should use epistemic confidence, because calculating probabilities of frameworks and arguments is impossible. Only a binary of true or false can ensure non-arbitrary decisions, and it's literally completely illogical, which means insofar as they've conceded epistemic confidence, that means you only evaluate under the winning framework, which is always Kantianism. They completely conceded Descartes that empirical facts are epistemically unreliable, since we deceive the things around us could not exist. We know the existence of our own reasons we are able to think, and which means reason is the only basis for ethics, which means that it completely takes out the reason why you prefer the extinction framework in the first place, because not only does it take out Papineau, which is the reason why which is the method why through which they justify their framework. Second of all, it takes out all reasons on the arguments on extinction outweighs, because Descartes just proves that our framework true, which means that you only follow our framework through you accept our thesis that ethical formulations must be run on arbitrary truths and not the empirical world piece. That means we require practical reason for the ability to set and pursue instances considered of agency. However, system of ethics requires we have a state to enforce the rights. Otherwise, in the state of nature, there be infinite rights violations, policies, which what follows on the order, which enforces the capital imperative and protects agency. You extend the vendor limit, it still goes completely conceded beast. It's wrong to personally interfere with foreign state. Does not harm other countries. The president of the United States military in the West Asia, North Africa region, will violate the rights of independent people and render the autonomy of every nation insecure. The terms of offense make absolutely zero sense because they still concede the mental evidence coming out the 1AC that says that Iran is fundamentally defensive, and the only reason why they care and why they care are aggressive in certain instances is because U.S. intervention in the region specifically in the first place, which means that our framework will justify a kind of U.S. presence not being in the Middle East, which means the terms of the framework make no sense, and it's literally consistent with our framework on the counterplan. One is that all the net benefits are inherently consequentialist, which means insofar as we're winning epistemic confidence, you only evaluate impacts under our framework. We only evaluate intents first, not consequences first, because they're not consequences first. Second is that they say we can concede things on extinction ways, but no, they're concede on extinction ways. No, you can accept that extinction ways is impact justified because the reason extinction is bad is because extinction ways it's literally completely circular because it's literally completely circular. Our framework does not rely on it being impact justified. We say that we solve. Our framework is normally justified. I.e., we have a meta ethic as to how our framework works and why our framework is true in the first place. And we have an entire syllogism as to how we decide what the good specifically is, which means our framework is obviously not impact justified there, which means that argument is completely false. And so insofar that we win framework means we don't evaluate consequences first, but the intent of the action first, which means that the counterplan doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The counterplan's net benefits don't actually matter under our framework, which means there's no reason why you should actively do the counterplan in the first place, which justifies perm do the counterplan, which justifies literally perm do both means there's literally no uniqueness.
Like insofar as they've conceded the meta ethic, that means only our framework can be true. Epistemic confidence means that it takes out their standard because we're winning the framework debate, clearly. We win offense, and the turns for offense makes zero sense. And the counterplan's offense is all consequentialist. There's no risk of extinction outweighing because we're winning our framework. And literally, there's no active reason to do the counterplan. Just vote out.
Okay.